Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming on this Friday morning. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas day. So we know we have the foggy Christmas Eve, then the foggy Christmas Day. We've got some good news about the fog today.
Yeah, not nearly as much fog that we're going to have. We've got a little bit out there right now, but it's improving. So we're going to be getting a brighter sky as we get to the afternoon. There's the current view. You can see some of that moisture that's still kind of left over there at 90th and West Dodge. Thankfully, temperatures are above freezing, so no concern there. 38 is where we stand. A little bit of a breeze, so if you're heading out early this morning, still, of course, coat weather as we're dealing with December conditions, but look at the visibility. This is much better than we've had at any point over the last couple of days. The metro looking pretty good. Now, we do still have some lingering fog in Iowa. Shenandoah near zero visibility right now, and you are still seeing some of that through much of our Iowa town. So if you're heading that direction, you're going to be heading out this morning and you're in Harlan, Denison, you want to watch for that to be something that's still in place, but we will improve on that as the morning goes on. Get a lot of sunshine for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon, and that'll help lift those temperatures up. I expect we end up into the 50s this afternoon, well above average for this time of year, and that's going to feel pretty pleasant out there. Not much in the way of wind to speak of either. We get to tomorrow, we're talking about more 50s on the way. There will be a little bit of a more steady south breeze alongside that and cloud cover, but it is still going to be a very nice day that we end up with, well above average and a lot more consistent with those 50s being in the area. This is the day where things start to change up on us. It's Sunday, where things are going to be dropping with our temperatures. We've got wind, we've got some wintry conditions. And so when you're looking at those 3 days, it is quite the stark difference there between Saturday and Sunday.
So let's talk about Sunday because, like you said, some changes are coming. We're talking about some snow.
Yeah, and people are going to be traveling this weekend too. So that's the day you want to circle for impacts. Let's look at how it all plays out. So we'll start with the precip side of it. And this is a front that we've been giving you the first alert to for several days. It's just that now it's looking like there's a little more moisture to play off of for that as it comes through. So starting with some sprinkles late in the night into the early morning hours, but cold air rushes in as we get into the morning behind that front and changes this over to some light snow. I think the highest chance for accumulations is north of the metro, but you can see as the morning goes on, that continues to sag its way south and east. So we do get snow in much of the area, and that continues into the early afternoon before that exits and moves its way off to the east. How much snow? Well, the coating looks pretty likely in the metro. We could get up to an inch. That's our ceiling at this point, but it could get that coating on the roads, and that could create some slick conditions. More likely, we end up 1 to 2 inches for places like Denison. As you get near Tacoma, West Point, Norfolk, as you're heading north, that's where you're looking at more of that snow falling. And the problem is this is going to be happening while we're getting gusts up to 40 miles per hour out of the northwest. So that will limit our visibility, and that's going to be causing issues, especially as you get into some of those more open areas outside of the metro. Here's what the winds do, and you can see how quickly they ramp up on our Sunday morning with some of those gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Still looking at that being the case into the middle of the day, and the afternoon, we're getting gusts up around 40 miles per hour. Even into Monday morning, we're still talking up to 35 miles per hour with those wind gusts. So it will be a blustery couple of days. And when you tack that onto the temperatures that you're looking at, dropping from the mid-30s early in the day Sunday to the 20s by the afternoon, that means wind chills in the single digits. And we're only getting into the mid-20s for our highs on Monday with that wind remaining. So a cold stretch there from Sunday into Monday. Better weather by Tuesday. We start to recover pretty quickly, and we're talking about some 40s there. New Year's Eve evening is looking like we're going to be right around 30 degrees. So dry, quiet there, so things will work out there. We just have that little bump in the road on the way there.
Yeah, so it's a big bump. But I know we need any kind of precipitation, right?
It's been very dry for
It's so
summer.
dry. All right, how are the roads looking? Not a lot of folks out and about.
Yeah, and we're mostly moving along pretty well on a lot of our roads. We've got one issue, and it's a crash that is in place at an intersection with 84th and Harrison. So let's just take a look at what we're seeing with that. Some delays that are showing up around here. This has shown some improvement movement here over the last 10 minutes or so. So we may be clearing this one out. That would be some good news for anyone who does happen to be traveling in that area. Aside from that, with that fog starting to lift, you can see how things are looking pretty good out there. Getting some sunshine overhead. And that's going to mean you want the sunglasses that you maybe haven't had in your car for a couple of days with all that fog. So don't forget that. We do have some delays showing up here as you're going northbound I-29 right around the 480 interchange. Watch for that. That's a new delay that has popped up. So that's something you will want to keep tabs on. Otherwise, pretty smooth travel as you're heading out and about. Interstate's looking mostly pretty good, and you don't have any problems on Dodge, the JFK. Holding up pretty well. Pretty light traffic with it being the day after a holiday. So it's mostly smooth. Looks like we have that crash starting to clear. So a lot to like about the travel conditions as well.
No complaints on the road. All right. Chair, thank you. Well, new this morning, one person is dead following a crash in Monona County, Iowa. This happened just last night after 7:40. According to the Iowa State Patrol, 75-year-old Rosemary Barber was turning around when she was hit by another vehicle. Barber was rushed to the hospital where she later died. The driver and passenger in the other car were not hurt. Conditions were foggy and visibility was limited at the time of the crash. Happening this weekend, funeral services for the 2 Iowa National Guard soldiers who were killed in Syria earlier this month. The bodies of Staff Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar and Staff Sergeant Nate Howard returned to Iowa earlier this week. The visitation and funeral services for Howard are set for tomorrow. A visitation for Torres Tovar will take place Sunday, followed by a funeral and burial on Monday. Both funerals are open to the public. New this morning, a man is fighting for his life after a Christmas Day shooting in Kansas City. It happened yesterday afternoon in the city's Crossroads neighborhood. Officers arrived on scene to find a man with gunshot wounds that are considered life-threatening. It wasn't immediately clear what led up to the shooting. Kansas City police say no suspect information was immediately available either. We are monitoring our Gray affiliate in KC. We'll let you know as soon as we learn more information. Well, coming up, a sweet treat you may have found in your stocking. We'll tell you why now is the perfect time to indulge, plus another look at the forecast when we come back. Welcome back, everybody, as we take a live look outside. Sure hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. We are back at it, many of us returning to work. But look what greets us. Less clouds. Things are slowly getting better as far as the fog, Jared.
Yeah, we're getting the improvement in our area, and that's going to continue through the morning. So yay!
Yay, I know.
Get the sunshine. It'll be a brighter sky. The fog is still present elsewhere in the Midwest. So if you are traveling, especially as you make your way east, you can see how thick that is as you make your way toward Cedar Rapids, Chicago. If you're going to be heading in that area, maybe check your flights if you're heading to Chicago later today, because we do have some of that pretty thick in that direction. But at least for us, it's looking a whole lot better. There's the view at 144th and West Dodge, where we are looking at better visibility, 38 degrees, feels like 31 at this point. And as we head through the rest of the day, as we get more of that sunshine in place, we'll go from these temperatures that are sitting mostly in the 30s. We've got some 40s that are out there too, up to the 50s. It'll be very pleasant with that sunshine in place. A lot to like about the rest of today, and really tomorrow is pretty good too. We'll be up into the upper 50s. A little more cloud cover will be involved, but it's going to be a pretty mild cloud cover that we have. A little bit of a breeze out of the south as well. That 20% you see there, that's a few sprinkles that could happen as we get into the later evening hours. More of that precip comes into play on Sunday. And Sunday is where we're going to focus a lot of our attention with the dropping temperatures, the winds that get stirred up, and yes, that snow chance that moves in. Now, this has really been ramping up for the last 24 hours. Didn't look like we'd have much moisture with this system before then. And just in that time frame, we've started to get more and more to play off of. So we go from having some of those sprinkles and light showers to snow pretty quickly for Sunday morning as we pull that colder air into the area, and that will turn that over to the frozen stuff. We'll continue to see that through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. We should see that ending in the metro right about 1, 2 o'clock, the way it's looking right now, and then out of our areas we get into the mid-afternoon. Coating to up to an inch for the metro is what I'm expecting out of this, the way things are looking right now. And further to the north, we're looking at 1 to 2 inches of snow. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of times that's where we run into more issues because people let their guard down. And with a lot of people traveling as we get into our Sunday, that's where some concerns come into play. In addition to this falling as we're getting some really strong wind gusts, those ramp up Sunday morning. We'll be getting those out of the northwest up to 40 miles per hour. So when you get into some of those more open areas, if you're traveling to the north, you got 1 to 2 inches falling with those winds. Visibility could really take a hit. You want to be prepared for that for Sunday. As we're going through the entirety of our Sunday, we're still looking at those winds gusting up around 40 miles per hour, pulling that colder air in. Up to 35 miles per hour for Sunday night, and even into Monday, we're still looking at some pretty strong winds. Those finally start to improve a little bit by Monday afternoon. So, with dropping temperatures through the course of our Sunday, we're going to start off in the 30s with our temps and fall back to the 20s for the afternoon. As those winds ramp up, look what our wind chill does. By the afternoon, we're down to the single digits, pretty widespread. With that, we fall below 0 by Monday morning. And as we get into Monday afternoon, with those winds still in place and temperatures that struggle to get back into the mid-20s, we're talking single-digit wind chills there as well. So really not a very warm stretch once we get past that very mild Saturday. The good news is it's a pretty quick recovery. You can see by Tuesday, we're already back into the 40s, and that's going to be kind of the ups and downs that we see as we go into the weekend and then into our last few days of 2025.
All right. Well, speaking of the last few days, the countdown, how is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day looking? You know, a lot of festivities going on in the metro.
Yeah, people probably starting to shift their focus toward that now that we're past Christmas. And it is looking like we have quiet weather around. It won't be quite as warm as that Tuesday. We're looking at a high of 40 Wednesday. So during the nighttime hours, we get around midnight, we're likely low 30s to upper 20s through the area, but not a ton of wind. We're clearing our sky out, so looks pretty good there. You do see it does cool down again as we get toward Thursday. Keep an eye on Saturday as we get to that first Saturday of 2026. We got another system that tries to make its way in. That's going to be another one that we're watching to see for potential winter impacts off of that.
Mother Nature has loved Saturday snows lately, right?
You know, it's all about the weekends.
It really is.
The way it's still ramping up.
All right. Well, Jared, thank you. Appreciate it. New this morning, people from across the Midwest are traveling to a town of about 150 people in northwest Iowa. And it's all to see the Settlers Christmas Village vintage collection. It all began with just 7 pieces all the way back in 1996. Well, now 450 pieces cover 576 square feet at Tyler Seckler's shop.
12 it outgrew my garage, so I had to bring it somewhere different. It's kind of like a train set. You have to add on all the time. School right there, the restaurant, there's a post office.
They've got everything in that town, right? So this year could be the last year for Seckler, though. He says he wants to sell that whole collection to just one buyer. While prices will be handled privately to the Secklers, the collection is priceless, and the display will remain up through mid-January in Calumet, Iowa. Well, Christmas Day has come and gone, but the celebration continues, and this celebration calls specifically for something you may have received in your stocking. It is National Candy Cane Day. I know I put that in my kids' stockings. It's not entirely clear exactly when candy canes came into existence, but according to one source, reference to the peppermint flavored treat started popping up in literature in 1866, so been around for quite some time. Well, happy Kwanzaa, everybody. The African-American holiday begins today, and it goes through January 1st. A professor of Pan-African Studies at California State University created the holiday in 1966 as a non-religious celebration of family and social values. Each day of Kwanzaa is dedicated to one of 7 defining principles. They're unity, self-determination, collective responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Happy Kwanzaa. Still ahead, Santa Claus is canoeing to town. Apparently, see his one-of-a-kind arrival when we come back. On New This Morning, as you know, Santa Claus has been very busy.
But not too busy to take some time in a canoe at Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. Here he is with some of his helpers. This is actually a Christmas Eve tradition.
Oh, that looks great.
That's been awesome. Families and visitors, they lined the beach to take pictures with jolly old St. Nick. And of course, since it is Hawaii, Santa was in shorts and beach shoes.
I love it. That's the kind of Christmas I want.
You know, after everything he's been doing, he deserves it.
He does, yeah.
If you could think of any town to put a reindeer ranch in, how about one called Santa Claus?
It seems appropriate, right? So Santa Claus, Indiana, to be specific. The owner of Santa's Reindeer Ranch puts on tours as a way to teach others about Santa's favorite creatures. Those attending the tours say they learned a lot about the reindeer. However, one attendee might have gotten their facts crossed.
What was the most interesting thing that you learned here today?
Oh, that the males lose their horns starting December something.
December something?
She called that beforehand. I didn't even know about it.
December something, but you don't remember what when December something
it's
is?
like 31st.
December 31st? Okay, gotcha.
Nah, they already
It's
lost.
not December 31st?
Nah, it's like the 21st. Oh, the beginning of December. Yeah.
You know what? Facts are hard to to keep in line, right? He did good. So tours at that ranch will continue all the way to January. It looks like he loves it anyway.
You know, Santa Claus, Indiana, they are all about the Christmas theme. They've got so many displays there. I haven't actually gone into the town, but I drove past it, and you could just see like all the Christmas lights.
I mean, if the name is Santa Claus, you gotta
lean into it.
You have to. Yeah.
Seems like a good place to visit this time of year.
For sure. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air. We sure hope you have a great day.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Friday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. Let's get right to First Alert 6 weather and traffic with Jared, who's first alerting us to things clearing up.
Finally, getting rid of the fog that has been plaguing us for a couple of days. You can see it's a brighter picture in much of the metro. Still a little bit that's in place as you work your way into Iowa. So let's look at that visibility map here. And you can see the metro holding up in pretty good shape. When we zoom out a little bit further, still struggling with it around Shenandoah, Tacoma, still with some of those visibility issues. But we'll continue to chip away at that fog, and that should lead to better travel conditions here as we go through the next few hours. Overall, we're moving along really well on a lot of our roads. No big issues, temperatures above freezing, so no slick spots. Just a little slow around 90th and Maple, but otherwise pretty good motion on the roads. As we're clearing out that fog, we're getting the sunshine back in our sky, and that's going to set us up for a really nice day today. We're starting off in the 30s. 38 is our current temp. A little bit of a breeze, so if you're about to head out the door, definitely want to dress appropriately for it being December. There's our current conditions. You can see a lot of 30s and 40s through the area. We'll go from those numbers, take that sunshine, and get up into the 50s for the afternoon. Be a very nice afternoon for us for December. As we go into tomorrow, we're still looking at 50s, just with a little less sunshine. And then Sunday, we have to watch for dropping temps. The wind gets stirred up. We'll also be looking at some snow showers that work their way through. Less than an inch looking likely in the metro. A little bit more as you go further to the north, where we could see 1 to 2 inches of wind-blown snow. Cerise.
All right, Jared, an Iowa woman is dead following a crash. It happened last night in Monona County. 75-year-old Rosemary Barber was turning around when she was hit by another vehicle. Barber later died at the hospital. According to the Iowa State Patrol, weather conditions were foggy and visibility was limited at the time of the crash. It is 7:28, and we're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.